So what I want to do, I want to address the ever-increasing bent of the Christian church to accept homosexuality as good and an acceptable alternative lifestyle. We have a number of church denominations and Jewish sects who now ordain gay ministers. Other denominations have decided to perform gay marriages. I don't want to just throw that out there without specifics. The conservative Jewish movement, the Reform Jewish movement, the Episcopal Church, the Evangelical Lutheran Church, the Presbyterian Church USA, and the United Church of Christ have all made it church and synagogue law to accept homosexuality as normal and good. They all ordain gay leadership and perform same-sex marriages. The common refrain from these churches and synagogues is that either the Bible is silent, they claim, on the subject of homosexuality, or that such a prohibition no longer applies because it was only meant for ancient times, even if the prohibition is presented in the New Testament, like here in Romans chapter 1. The other primary argument is, this ought to be familiar, because God's love. God is love. Love trumps everything. So if love is involved in sexual relations in any form, including same-sex, well, then it's good. And Jesus heartily approves of it, and he would condemn anyone who would speak against it as unrepentant bigots. Now, the other argument that passes for truth in our time is that this bent against homosexuality is only a modern one, and that what the Bible meant to ancient people in this Romans passage and in at least 5 other passages in the Old and New Testaments that are frequently used as saying this is anti-gay, that they actually have nothing to do with homosexual behavior. To that end, I'd like to quote to you a passage from a commentary on the book of Romans written by the early church father Severian of Gabala about 400 AD. Now this regards the specific passage of Romans 1:27 that reads like this. And likewise the men giving up natural relations with the opposite sex burn with passion for one another, men committing shameful acts with other men and receiving in their own persons the penalty appropriate to their perversion. Severian says this: Paul did not say this lightly, but because he had heard there was a homosexual community in Rome. In the Greco-Roman world of the New Testament, homosexuality was not only common, it was fully accepted, even highly regarded. We get the modern term lesbian from the notorious reputations of the homosexual women of the Isle of Lesbos. So as Severian says, Paul wasn't writing to the Romans because this thought just kind of popped into his mind. As the center of the Roman Empire, the city of Rome was ground zero for sexual immorality and especially homosexuality. I mean, Rome's emperors were noted for it. Nero turned it into an art form, using the bodies of young boys. So Paul was addressing a specific problem that believers in Rome were facing. And this was his protocol for all of his letters that we today call the epistles. Another early church father, Chrysostom, who lived at the same time as Severian, says this, that's taken from his famous homilies on Romans. He says, this is clear proof of the ultimate degree of corruption when both sexes are abandoned. Notice how deliberate Paul measures his words, for he does not say that they're enamored with one another, but that they were consumed with lust. The normal desire for sexual intercourse united the sexes to one another, but by taking this away and turning it into something else, the devil divided the sexes from each other and forced what was one to become two in opposition to the laws of God. The devil was bent on destroying the human race, but Paul goes straight to the source of this sexual evil: ungodliness, which comes from twisted teaching, and lawlessness, which is its reward. So the point is that, first of all, these comments from two early church fathers, around 400 AD, is proof that the claim that it's only fairly recently that the church began to say that homosexuality is wrong and to suggest that the Bible doesn't speak against, this is simply a lie. But second, I think that the last sentence that I read to you from Chrysostom nails it. The real source of sexual evil is ungodliness, which comes, sadly, from twisted teaching from the pulpit and from lawlessness.